The mental technique destroying millions is secretly making billionaires unstoppable. You're either about to become unbreakable or discover why you've been failing. There's no middle ground. Master strategic emotional control through cognitive reframing, pressure transformation, and quantum consciousness techniques while maintaining humanity through conscious vulnerability practices. Your transformation starts now, but only if you choose to act on what you'll discover in this video. What I'm about to reveal will either save your life or shatter everything you thought you knew about human psychology. Right now, as you're watching this, there's a mental virus spreading through society that's turning ordinary people into emotional slaves. But here's the twisted part. The same technique that's destroying millions is secretly being used by billionaires, world leaders, and elite performers to gain superhuman mental strength. I've spent 15 years studying human psychology, and what I discovered will make you question everything. There's a hidden mental switch that most people never find, but when the elite activate it, they become virtually unbreakable. Meanwhile, everyone else stays trapped in emotional chaos, wondering why they can't handle pressure like the people at the top. But here's your warning. Once you learn this technique, you can never go back to being the person you were before. You'll either master your mind completely or lose control of it forever. There's no middle ground. This isn't some feel-good motivation. This is psychological warfare, and most people aren't ready for what it demands. The elite don't want you to know this exists because it levels the playing field instantly. They've been using it for decades while keeping the masses distracted with surface-level advice that never works. But today, that changes. Today, you discover the real secret behind unshakable mental strength. If you're not ready to completely transform how you handle stress, fear, and pressure, stop watching now. Because what comes next will either make you unstoppable or show you exactly why you've been failing all these years. Here's the brutal truth nobody talks about. You're living in the most mentally weak generation in human history, and it's not an accident. While your great-grandparents survived world wars and economic collapse with unbreakable resolve, you panic over a difficult email or freeze during a job interview. But here's what's really happening. Society has deliberately weakened your mental resilience through comfort addiction. Every convenience, every instant gratification, every digital distraction has been systematically destroying your ability to handle real pressure. And while you've been getting mentally softer, the elite have been getting mentally stronger, using the exact opposite approach. Let me tell you about Sarah, a brilliant marketing executive I worked with. She had everything. Great job, perfect relationship, financial security. But the moment real pressure hit during a major presentation, she completely collapsed. Panic attack in front of 50 executives. Career destroyed. Relationship ended. Why? Because she'd never developed real mental strength, just the illusion of it. Meanwhile, her competitor Jake, who seemed less talented, got the promotion. Want to know why? Jake had discovered what I'm about to show you. When pressure hit, instead of cracking, he became sharper, more focused, more decisive. The same stress that destroyed Sarah made Jake unstoppable. This isn't about talent or intelligence. It's about a specific psychological technique that rewrites how your brain responds to pressure, and it happens every day. You know this? The elite learned this decades ago, but they've kept it hidden because weak people are easier to control. Right now, you're probably using the exact mental strategies that guarantee failure under pressure. You're trying to avoid stress, manage anxiety, and stay comfortable. But that's precisely what keeps you mentally weak, while others become mentally dominant. The shocking truth, your brain is designed to become stronger under pressure, not weaker. But you've been programmed to do the opposite, and it's destroying your potential. Here's where it gets disturbing. Neuroscientists have discovered something that completely changes everything we thought we knew about mental strength. Your brain doesn't respond to what's actually happening. It responds to the story you tell yourself about what's happening. But here's the twisted part. Most people have been programmed with the wrong story, and it's making them mentally fragile. Meanwhile, the elite use the correct story, and it makes them virtually unbreakable under any pressure. Let me explain with a real example that shocked even me. A former Navy commander told me about two soldiers in identical life-or-death situations. Same training, same background, same physical capabilities. But when captured and tortured, one broke within hours, while the other endured for weeks without revealing anything. The difference? The soldier who broke was telling himself, "This is destroying me, I can't handle this." The one who survived was telling himself, "This is making me stronger. Every second proves they can't break me." Same torture, completely different outcomes. This is called cognitive reframing, and it's the most powerful psychological technique ever discovered. But here's what makes me angry. This research has been buried for decades because it threatens the entire self-help industry. Why would they want you to discover that real strength comes from rewriting your internal narrative instead of buying their endless products? The elite have been using this in boardrooms, military operations, and high-stakes negotiations for years. When pressure hits, instead of thinking, "I hope I can handle this," they think this pressure is making me more powerful. It literally rewires their neurochemistry in real time. But most people do the opposite. They tell themselves stress is bad, pressure is dangerous, and they need to avoid discomfort. This programming guarantees they'll crumble when it matters most. The scientific proof is undeniable. But they don't want you to know because mentally strong people are harder to manipulate and control. Now, I'll reveal the exact techniques the elite use to become mentally invincible. But understand this. These aren't gentle self-help strategies. These are psychological weapons designed for high-stakes situations where weakness equals failure. Technique 1. The pressure flip. When stress hits, most people try to eliminate it. Fatal mistake. Elite performers do the opposite. They instantly reframe pressure as power fuel. A Fortune 500 CEO I studied told me that before every board meeting, he deliberately increases his stress levels because it sharpens his decision-making. While others avoid pressure, he seeks it out and transforms it into mental clarity. Technique 2. Strategic emotional silence. This one will shock you. When someone attacks you verbally or tries to provoke you, the elite don't defend themselves. They use calculated silence as a psychological weapon. I watched a billionaire investor completely destroy an aggressive negotiator, using nothing but strategic pauses. The attacker exhausted himself, while the elite player maintained perfect emotional control and struck with devastating precision. Technique 3. Victory visualization under fire. Most people visualize success when they're calm and comfortable. Useless. Elite athletes and military operators practice visualizing victory while under extreme stress. They train their minds to see success even when chaos is erupting around them. This rewires their brains to expect victory regardless of circumstances. Technique 4. The identity command protocol. This is where it gets dangerous. The elite don't just use positive affirmations. They use identity commands during moments of maximum stress. When a special forces operator is under enemy fire, he doesn't think, "I hope I survive." He commands his nervous system, "I am unstoppable. I am invincible." This isn't motivation. It's neurological reprogramming. Technique 5. Impulse assassination. Here's what separates the elite from everyone else. When they feel the urge to react emotionally, they kill that impulse immediately. No angry emails, no defensive responses, no emotional outbursts. They've trained themselves to pause for exactly 24 hours before any emotional response, allowing logic to regain control. But here's the warning nobody gives you. These techniques will make you mentally dominant, but they come with a price. People around you might start feeling intimidated by your new level of control. Relationships might change because you're no longer emotionally reactive. You'll become more powerful, but possibly more isolated. The elite accept this trade-off because they understand that mental strength requires sacrificing emotional comfort. Here's what the success gurus will never tell you, and it's the most important part. These techniques don't just make you stronger. They can make you emotionally numb if you're not careful. I've seen it happen to brilliant people who became so mentally tough that they lost their ability to feel joy, love, or genuine connection. Let me tell you about Marcus, a former client who mastered these techniques too well. He became incredibly successful, promoted 3 times in 2 years, respected by everyone, seemingly unbreakable under any pressure. But his wife left him because, in her words, It's like living with a robot. He'd become so good at emotional control that he'd lost access to his emotions entirely. This is the hidden cost of mental invincibility. Your brain can't distinguish between blocking negative emotions and blocking positive ones. Build the armor thick enough to stop pain, and it might also stop happiness from getting through. The most disturbing part, some elite performers prefer it this way. A former Wall Street executive told me he deliberately chose emotional numbness because it made him more profitable. He could fire hundreds of employees without feeling anything, make ruthless decisions without hesitation, and crush competitors without guilt. He became incredibly wealthy but completely hollow inside. This is why the ancient warriors who developed these techniques also created balance rituals. They understood that power without humanity is just sophisticated self-destruction. The samurai had meditation practices, the Spartans had brotherhood ceremonies, and the Vikings had storytelling traditions, all designed to maintain their emotional connection while developing mental strength. But modern society skipped this crucial step. People learn the power techniques, but ignore the balance practices. And it's creating a generation of high-performing sociopaths who can dominate in business but can't maintain real relationships. Here's the critical question you must answer before going further. Do you want to be mentally unbreakable, or do you want to be mentally strong while remaining fully human? Because the next level I'm about to show you will test that decision in ways you can't imagine. What I'm about to reveal goes beyond psychology into actual physics. And it explains why some people seem to bend reality to their will, while others struggle with basic challenges. Recent quantum physics research has proven something extraordinary. Your consciousness directly influences your external reality in measurable ways. But here's the part that will blow your mind. The elite have been using this principle for decades without understanding the science behind it. They've discovered that intense mental focus combined with absolute emotional certainty doesn't just change how you feel. It actually changes what happens to you. Princeton University's engineering department spent 30 years studying this phenomenon. They found that human consciousness can influence random physical events with statistical significance that's mathematically impossible to ignore. Translation: your mind literally shapes reality around you. A tech billionaire I studied uses this principle daily. Before major business negotiations, he spends 20 minutes visualizing the exact outcome he wants while generating intense emotional certainty that it's already happened. His success rate in negotiations is over 90% because he's not just preparing mentally. He's actually influencing the quantum field of probability around the situation. This sounds mystical, but it's pure science. Your brain generates electromagnetic fields that extend beyond your body. When you achieve what researchers call coherent focus, thoughts and emotions aligned with absolute certainty, these fields become powerful enough to influence people and situations around you. The most successful people I've studied don't just think positively. They generate quantum coherence between their thoughts, emotions, and intentions. They become walking probability manipulators. But here's the warning. This level of mental control is addictive. Once you experience the ability to influence reality through consciousness alone, ordinary life feels powerless. Some people become obsessed with this control and lose their connection to natural human spontaneity. The question is, are you ready to take responsibility for consciously shaping your reality, or do you prefer the illusion that life just happens to you? Here's the final truth that separates true masters from dangerous amateurs. The greatest leaders in history weren't just mentally invincible. They maintained their humanity while wielding extraordinary power. They discovered the secret of integration, becoming unbreakable without becoming unfeeling. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison using these exact techniques to maintain his sanity and strength. But he didn't just become mentally tough. He became more compassionate, more wise, more connected to human suffering. He integrated power with heart, strength with empathy. The key is deliberate practice of what I call conscious vulnerability. For every hour you spend building mental armor, spend equal time in activities that keep your heart open. Deep conversations with people you love, acts of service for others, moments of genuine laughter and playfulness. Elite Navy SEALs understand this perfectly. They develop inhuman toughness for combat, but they also have rituals for reconnecting with their emotions afterward. They know that permanent emotional shutdown isn't strength, it's psychological damage. Your brain is designed to be both a weapon and a garden. Weapon, when you need protection and power. Garden, when you need connection and joy. The masters learn to switch between these modes consciously, rather than getting stuck in either one. So here's your path forward. Master the techniques I've shown you, but commit to staying human in the process. Use your mental strength to serve something bigger than yourself. Become unbreakable so you can be more reliable for the people who depend on you, not so you can dominate them. The world needs people who are both powerful and compassionate, both strong and connected. Don't just become mentally invincible. Become the kind of person who uses that invincibility to make life better for everyone around you. If this video opened your eyes to the truth about mental strength, give it a like and subscribe to this channel for more revelations the elite don't want you to discover. Your transformation starts now, but only if you choose to act on what you've learned today.